Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I want to thank all of you who wrote to us after last week's service to let us know that you were there. It makes it a little bit easier for us to do this evening, once again, looking out at a whole bunch of empty chairs. But knowing that you're there makes it worthwhile for us to be here. And we also want to thank our custodian, Matt, who is here tonight to take care of the camera and to take care of the building while we're here and making Shabbat. A prayer from Rabbi Michelle Lenke. God of our mothers and fathers, we are incredibly humbled at this moment. While we intended to spend sacred time together in person, side by side, seeing each other panim el panim, face to face, greeting one another with hugs and kisses, we know that we can't do that right now, and we are doing our part to flatten the curve. Instead, we find ourselves surprisingly blessed by this opportunity to immerse ourselves in the miraculous world of modern technology in order to communicate, connect, learn, and grow during these stressful times. As we begin our time together, yet apart, help us to be present with and for one another. Some of us are at home with loved ones, and others of us are home alone. Some of us love the solitude, and others may be craving connection. Let us be gentle with one another and listen to each other. Keep distractions out of our vision and the purpose of our being together at this moment at the core. Thank you, God, for enabling us to engage in the sacred work of building community and maintaining connection. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'tzorchei hatzibur. Blessed are you, source of the world, who makes us holy by commanding us and inspiring us to engage in the sacred work of our communal good. We have spent the second of the most unusual weeks of our lives trying to reach out to people. If you are members of the Rodeph Torah community, I hope that you have heard from at least one person from our congregation. If you haven't, please let us know, because we're trying to reach you. We're trying every phone number we have to get in touch to see what you need, how we can help, and just to let you know that we're here. We haven't gone away. If there's something you need, reach out to us. If you're in our community and there's something you need, please reach out to us. If you just want to talk, we're here. If you're not in our community, but you're somewhere else around the country or around the world, you're still part of our community, perhaps even more so these days. If there's some way we can help you, please reach out to us. Our phone numbers are published on the Rodeph Torah website, on our Facebook page, our cell phone numbers, so that you can reach us anytime, and we hope that you will. So right now, as we always begin Shabbat, please take a minute to think of something good that happened this week. There are times for internet memes, there are times for parents with kids home to acknowledge that they're making us crazy at times. But think of something good that happened this week. Take a minute, think about it. If you're with someone else, tell them what was good and ask them what was good for them. If you're by yourself, then please say it, and even say it out loud to acknowledge the good. Hakarat HaTov is an important part of Judaism, to recognize the good things in our lives. And perhaps now more than ever, we need to take the time to do that. So we'll give you a minute to think about the good.
Being of service, knowing that there's something I can teach, something people I can reach. And you?
So we don't have the kids that get together.
Yeah, that's great. We continue on page 129, if you happen to be looking along with us. And by the way, if you would like a book for the following week when we do Erev Shabbat services, all you have to do is call us and we will make sure you get one. Page 129, Dodili. Dodili, vani lo haoher, vashoshanim, Dodili, mizot olam, min hamidbar, mizot olam, min hamidbar. Dodili, vani lo haoher, vashoshanim, Dodili, mikutat mor, moru levona, moru levona, Dodili. Dodili, vani lo haoher, vashoshanim, Dodili, libavtini, achoti kala, libavtini kala. Dodili, vani lo haoher, vashoshanim, Dodili. We turn to 128, which is just on the other side of the page. And because it was truly a beautiful day today, it sort of prepared me for Shabbat in order to welcome all of my senses, to feel the warmth of the sun and the light breeze and see the blue sky. And it's truly Maya Fehayom. And we can make that, carry that into our Shabbat. Maya Fehayom, Shabbat Shalom. How lovely today is. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayom, Shabbat Shalom. And now we turn to L'Chadodi on page 138. If you are sitting in your living room, in your den, in your room, and you are able at one point to stand at the end of L'Chadodi, when we welcome the Shabbat bride, we look towards the door as she walks in.
1, 2, 5, and 9.
And we are singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, pages 138 and 139. Lecha dodi, likrat kala pene, Shabbat nekabla, nekabla. Lecha dodi, likrat kala pene, Shabbat nekabla, nekabla. Shamav zacha b'dibur echad, Ish השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ותהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה נקבלה. התעוררי התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת מעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמונה עם סגולה, בואי חלה בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה נקבלה.
If you rose for that, please be seated. We'd just like to go over a couple of things we hope you'll keep in mind for this service. If you're at home and we say please rise, you have your choice about what to do because we won't. No. We do hope that you'll rise at certain points because this isn't a simulation of a service, it's our service. It's our praise to God. And if you can, please do. If you can't, then as the rabbi said, direct your hearts toward heaven. If you don't have a book in front of you, then the things that you know, read along and sing along. If we say a blessing and you don't know the words to it, then at the end say Amen, which means I believe that. That goes for me too. And wherever you are, if you do have a book, if you do know the melody, sing out. Sing out with a full voice. Read with us. We won't hear you directly, but I think we will. I will tell you that I'm looking out at all the chairs now, and a number of you are regulars in our services, and I want you to know that I feel you here. I feel your presence here. And one last thing just about the hour. We're doing this service at 6:30 because Marlborough has instituted a curfew at 8 o'clock. It's not mandatory, but it's recommended, and so Shira and I need to be able to make our way home before that time. And also I ask you to keep in mind that we Jews never say we observe Shabbat, we say it's time to make Shabbat. So in fact, Shabbat begins when we make it. So it's 6:30 and change, and we are making Shabbat. So Shabbat begins now. Page 121 and 120. If you have candles at home and you'd like to light them, we hope you'll light them with us.
Page 121. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and into our lives. Bless all who enter this place in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship together lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
Praised are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallowed us when he spoke, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Page 146, please rise if you are able.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
148. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
Amen. We continue on page 150 with Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadta, Al kin Adonai Eloheinu v'shofenu, v'kumenu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratacha, u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, ve'ohech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla, ve'avatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim, baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated. On page 155 is a beautiful interpretation of the Ahavta. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. 158. Mi chamocha ba'alim Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'alim Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'kodesh. Noat tehilot,
Oseh
לעולם ועד. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי ענו ואמרו, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש.
Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Page 161 and the top of 160.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, LeShalom. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, LeShalom. Ufchos aleinu sukat shlomecha, v'tahaknenu beitzah tova milfanecha. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, LeShalom. Let there be light and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. We continue on page 162 with V'Shamru. V'Shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם, לדורותם, ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. Shabbat
We continue with the Amidah. Our tradition is to face east. So if you can figure out which light in your home which window in your home gets the morning light, please face that way. If you're able to rise, please do. 164 and the even number pages.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor Hanora,
shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham be'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Machayeh hakol atah Rav le'Hoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid Hashem, Mechaker ha'chayim b'chesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'ofer cholim, Umatir asuvim, Umekayem emunato, Zishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gerurot, Umitomenot, Melech memit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Ve'leman nata lachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kedushim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
The passage we just read on page 170 in the musical version by Beth Schaefer, who grew up just down Route 9 from us. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kedoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kedoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who strive to be holy spread your glory day by day. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who strive to be holy spread your glory day by day. Baruch atah Adonai, HaMelech HaKadosh, HaMelech HaKadosh. Amen.
If you're standing, please be seated. We continue with our prayer for peace. Shlemut, shalom in every sense. Page 178.
Shalom Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim le'olam. V'tov be'einecha levaher et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Please take a minute now to add your own prayer, your own thoughts, your own message to God.
Shalom bimhoma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amin. Oseh shalom, shalom bimhoma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amin. Oseh shalom, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel, ve'imru amen. We are all human, and I am too, and I apologize. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael tevel, amen.
Please turn to page 371, our prayer for healing. In addition to our loved ones, we think of all those who have been stricken by this virus in our community, in our state, in our country, in our world. And also, as we discovered this week, there's another part of it too, which is, at this point, anyone who gets a sniffle is now terrified. Shira, as far as we can tell, has hay fever. And so I'm taking her temperature every 3 minutes, and it's all good. We have had several members of our congregation who have gotten sick. Just gotten sick, nothing else. But until the results of the test came back, they didn't know and their families didn't know. And so we ask for healing of the soul as well as of the body. And so I ask you to take a minute right now and think of your own loved ones, friends, whom you are praying for their wholeness, for their completeness, for their healing.
Isha b'richa avotenu, mikor habracha limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Isha b'richa imotenu, mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
So tonight I want to hopefully give you a little laugh to begin. We can all use it. I want to go back and talk about one of possibly the most bomb sermon I ever gave, and I don't mean that in a good sense. I mean, I thought it was a good sermon, but it bombed. I mean, it bombed. And I could even tell it was a high holiday sermon. And I really did believe in it, but as I was giving it, I got the feeling that I was speaking a foreign language. And afterwards it was confirmed to me that I was. The sermon was about taking a technology Shabbat. About taking a Shabbat once a week, or at least at the time on Yom Kippur, one whole day without touching technology other than to connect with our own families. And I said I'm not an Orthodox Jew. I don't have a problem with using a phone on Shabbat or something like that, but I said that I thought that our phones at the time were killing us, because especially for everyone who had a job, the phone meant that we never left work. It meant that we were reachable 24/7, that we were attached 24/7. I pointed out that the first thing that our ancestors did when they left slavery was to declare a Shabbat, a day off from work. And I even had buttons, metal buttons printed up that said, I'm technology free on Shabbat. And there was a cell phone with a line through it. And I made up a bunch of these buttons, most of which I just recently threw away because guess what? No one took them. Because it was as if I was saying to people, why don't you just take 24 hours without, breathing? And so the sermon was chalked up as quite a bomb, but I want to bring it back in just a slightly different way because I'm still pushing the subject because I don't give up. Right now, a lot of things are contagious around us. One is the coronavirus. We know this. Another is anger, and another is fear. And while we are doing a good job of isolating ourselves from the coronavirus, most of us are doing a terrible job of isolating ourselves from anger and from fear. Now, granted, there's a lot to be angry at right now, and there's a lot to be afraid of. There's a lot of anger about the way the virus is being handled. I am not going into politics on this, but all it will take is about 30 seconds online to find it. If you are conservative in your politics and you go onto your social media, you will hear a whole bunch of people ranting about how no one is supporting the president and no one is giving him his due for what he's doing in this crisis. If you are a liberal in your politics, the same 30 seconds online in your bubble will give you multiple examples of why you should be angry at the president and the Congress and whoever else you want to be angry at. As I said, it's not my goal here tonight to talk politics. My goal is to talk about anger and fear. And right now, I dare you to go on your social media and not find something that would make you angry. For me, it was as recently as 3 o'clock this afternoon when I found something online that drove me nuts. Not going into it. But I actually had to talk myself down off the ledge because I was getting ready for Shabbat and didn't think I wanted to be angry on Shabbat. And I would ask you, who wants to be angry on Shabbat? I mean, I think that 6 days a week is enough time to be angry. Can't we give ourselves a Shabbat from anger? If we're going to do that, we're going to need to disconnect. Because I don't care how even-tempered you are, how even-keeled you are, it is impossible to be on social media of any sort and not find one thing after another that's triggering our anger. I had said back in my original sermon that, just stay in touch with family. Well, turns out there's a problem with that. I have a very large family, and some members of my family are very active politically. And some of them post a lot about their politics, which is really cool and very interesting. Hi, Cousin Ken. But I need a break. I need a break from the anger. I need a Shabbat. And the only way I can do that is by isolating myself, by social distancing myself from my social media. And so for me, from now until tomorrow evening, I am not going on social media. I am not looking at anyone's posts. I am not responding to anyone's posts on it. I am not checking that little button on the thing that says you have 3 messages waiting for you on Facebook. I will not look at it for the next 25, 26 hours because I deserve and need a Shabbat from anger. And possibly the most contagious thing around us right now is fear. And again, to be honest, there's enough to be afraid of right now. There's enough to be afraid of for ourselves and our loved ones and our friends and our community and our state and our region and our country and our world. But I have to ask whether we need to nurture the fear. Do we need to grow it? Do we need to fertilize it with more and more fearful things 7 days a week? Wouldn't 6 days a week be enough? I remember a wonderful scene in an old episode of MASH. For the younger ones who are watching, ask your parents about it. It was a great show. In it, the hospital, the camp is being bombed. And Hawkeye and BJ run into the colonel and say, "Colonel, can't you do something?" And the colonel says, "Well, I'm calling everybody I know. I can call more people. Would that help?" And they said, "Yes." And they said, "What else?" And the colonel says, "Well, Radar's under the desk being afraid. Radar, can you be more afraid?" And from under the desk you hear a voice going, "No problem, sir." We can always be more afraid. But will that help us? Now, if you're so unafraid that you're going out and hanging out in bars and nightclubs and things like that, then you actually do really need to take this Shabbat to be more afraid. But I'm guessing that almost everybody who's watching this right now is somewhere home and safe. And yet we're still afraid. The numbers grow every day. I don't need to go into why we're afraid. So I ask you, would the world suffer if we took a day off from nurturing our fear? Will we be worse off? Will our situation be more dire if we take 24 or so hours when we don't look to see how bad it is, how bad it's getting, or how bad it's going to be? What if we took these 24 hours and concentrated, as I asked you at the beginning of the service, on what is good in our lives? Because we are fortunate and we are blessed and there is goodness in so many different ways. But at times it gets drowned under the wave of fear and the wave of anger. So while I don't have those buttons anymore, I appeal to you, please consider taking a Shabbat from anger and from fear. Taking a Shabbat to consider beauty, to consider love, to consider friendship, to consider the goodness of silence. Read a book, not about politics. Watch a movie that doesn't scare you. Listen to music. Talk to someone in your home. Call someone up. Talk to them there. My family tomorrow afternoon is going to have a date. We're all meeting. We're all getting together and talking about everybody's lives and everybody's week. We do it every 3 days. We do it on Zoom. That's a good use of technology on Shabbat. But even when I fire up the Zoom, I'm not opening my browser and I'm not looking at Facebook and I am not taking anyone's tweets. I'm just going to concentrate on what's good. Social distancing is going to keep us alive, they say. And I agree. We need to distance ourselves from all the viruses that are around us now. From those that make us sick with illness, from those that make us sick with anger, from those that make us sick with fear. And so as we begin this Shabbat, I hope, I wish, I pray for each of you that you have a Shabbat Shalom, a peaceful, beautiful Shabbat.
Page 634 at the bottom of the page. Ki eshmeha Shabbat. When I keep Shabbat, God keeps me. It is a sign forever between God and me. I like that. As we're singing together, think about how we are kept by God. Ki eshmeha Shabbat, Yishmerei, Ki eshmeha Shabbat, Yishmerei, Ahati le'al mehad, Beino uveni, Oti le'al mehad, Beino uveni, Ki eshmeha Shabbat, Yishmerei, Ki eshmeha Shabbat, Yishmerei, Oti le'al mehad, Beino uveni, Oti le'al mehad, Beino uveni.
Page 586 in the middle of the page. We join together in Aleinu, and again, if you are able, please rise.
עלינו לשבח לדון הכל, לתת גדולה יוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהן, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Next page. שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ ומשב יקראו בשמיים ממעל ושכינה תוסר בגובים מרובים הוא אלוהינו הוא אין עוד עמד מלכינו וזולתו כך כתוב בתורתו כך כתוב בתורתו וידעת היום והשיבות אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד.
Page 590. Where the English is indented, we will move to the Hebrew. Let all who dwell on earth acknowledge that unto you every knee must bend and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you, Adonai, our God, let them pay homage. Let them give glory to your honored name. Let all accept the yoke of your reign, that you may rule over us soon and forever. For sovereignty is yours, and to all eternity you will reign in glory. As it is written in your Torah, Adonai will reign forever and ever.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד
Couple of announcements we want to share with you. First of all, again, thank you for being here with us, as it were. It's a little bit easier this week. Do you find it?
I do.
Because at least we know people are out there.
Correct.
Last week was just very, very weird. If you have comments, whatever, please share them with us on email.
After Shabbat.
After Shabbat. We'd love to know your thoughts. We'd love to know that you are out there, honestly. It really helps us a lot. So please do that. Again, as Shira said, if you would like a Siddur, if you'd like a prayer book to follow along, 1, 2, or more, give us a call, send us an email. We'll arrange either for you to pick it up from our house or we'll bring it to your house and leave it outside the door in a bag
Oh, Clara.
after Shabbat. So please do let us know. Tomorrow morning service is on Zoom at 10 o'clock, the morning minyan. The information for that is on the TRT website, trt.org. You can find all the information there about what we're doing. We will have our service every Friday evening at 6:30, every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. We are planning on having a second day Pesach Seder online. And now I will tell you right now, as Shira said before, we're all human. If we were going to do this for the first time, I would spend about 6 months getting ready for it. We have 2 weeks. So we are going to try. What it's going to look like, I do not know. How it's going to work, I cannot tell you. But I'm sure interested to find out what it's going to be like. And we will see. So
We will.
second night of Pesach, we will do something in a way that anyone who wants will be able to access. Again, we understand how isolating the situation is. And all of us at TRT, every person, every member of our board is trying so hard to make contact, to keep contact with all of you. If you have not heard from someone, please tell us, tell any of us, so that we can make sure that we have your right phone number, that we can reach you, and we will do that. Our meetings are going on. Our religious school has started back up, all online, and so you should have gotten information about that. Is that this week or you had it? Yes, this Wednesday at 10 o'clock in the morning will be our bereavement group, which Shira leads. If you are not part of this, if you've suffered a loss in your family and you feel it's something you just want to share within a group, please drop her a note. She will send you the Zoom link and you are welcome to be part of it. And if you don't know how to use Zoom, don't worry. She'll send you a link that will show you what to do. If anyone is having trouble accessing any of this, let us know. And we have teenagers who will be happy to contact you and walk you through it because you go with the experts on this stuff. Anything else we're supposed to bring up? That's about it. I hope you join us tonight for the oneg.
Enjoy it.
I hear it's wonderful. I don't know what you're having, but we look forward to that. And we wish you a Shabbat Shalom. We turn now to page 598. As we prepare for Kaddish, I ask you to think about the loved ones whom you are remembering on this Shabbat. In particular, we remember Leo Sokal, the father of Bernie Sokal, whose Shiva we observe. And we remember Sheldon Curtis, the father of Sol Curtis, whose Shloshim we observe. And we remember those whose yahrzeits occurred during this week. Martin Goldman, the father of Michael Goldman. George Weitz, the husband of Sophie Weitz. Larry Cohen, the father of Brina Resnick. Bernard Darris, the father of Sandy Darris and a member of Temple Rodeph Torah. Renee Aronson, the mother of Brian Aronson. Sarah Neckes, the aunt of Eric Schoenholtz. Max Aaron, the father of Bernie Aaron. Pepe Gelfenstein, the sister of Mina Palton, the aunt of Josephine Palton. Charlotte Pollock, the friend of Larry and Lois Benjamin. Sylvia Freilich, the mother of Irv Freilich. Marvin Goldstein, father of Jeffrey Goldstein and uncle of Jerry Kaplan and Susan Blecker, and a member of Temple Rodeph Torah. Stephen Friedland, the brother of Larry Friedland. Simon Kirstein, father of Andrea Weingold. Anthony Napodano, the brother-in-law of Loretta Shapiro. Estrella Masson, the aunt of Miriam Capel. Eric Friedman, the father of Les Friedman. Rosalind Salmon, the mother of Richard Salmon. May their memories be a blessing to everyone who knew them and loved them, and may their memories guide us into the days ahead. Page 598. Please rise if you are able. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shenei Rabbah, v'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach la'alam u'lalnei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudshah brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shmaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel and to all the world, to which we say, amen.
We continue on page 626. For those of you who said to me, we really want to have something really familiar. I thought about all the things that I grew up with as a kid. And Ein Keloheinu defined Shabbat for me. So please join us in Ein Keloheinu on page 626. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Adonenu, Mi Malkeinu, Mi Moshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu.
My colleague, Rabbi Jeff Salkin, shared a bracha, a prayer that I think touched the hearts of all of us who have stood these weeks in empty sanctuaries, in empty buildings, and have longed for the day that they would be filled again with humanity. And so I share this with you as our benediction. Al dat hamakom v'al dat hakahal, with the knowledge of the one who is in all places, and with the knowledge of this holy community, we declare with full voice and full heart, we are in the in-between moments. We are in the in-between moment of being in our sacred spaces, our spaces that are the descendants of the ancient Mishkan, and our private spaces in which some of us dwell alone, and in which some of us dwell with our closest others. This is temporary, this isolation we feel. And may God heal our isolation. May God hear the anguished voices of those who are truly alone and lonely. We commit ourselves anew, that once we, through our wisdom, are able to lift the veil of fear, we will redeem ourselves from our solitude and rejoin each other in sacred community. That we will go from merely holding hearts to once again holding hands. That our embraces will journey back from the virtual to the real. Even as our prayers and songs go into the cloud, let us resolve, in the words of Nehemiah, we shall not abandon this house of God. Our houses of God in Israel and Torah are still our houses and still our homes. They are here to sustain us and inspire us, to give shape to our lives, to give depth to our hopes, to give us water to quench our anguish. We will return to them, Nashuva, and we promise to continue to sustain them and to honor them for what they must continue to be. This is temporary. Odishama, Yet again shall the voices of children and adults be heard in our sanctuaries. We will return. We wish you a Shabbat Shalom. And God, we look forward to seeing you again. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Have a good Shabbat.
Na'yafe hayom, Shabbat shalom.